Ketchup is awesome. Hey, 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 just Jay is okay. Jay is just okay.
Start the show already. Sheesh.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning on this Sunday morning. How are you all doing today? Hey, Ketchup, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. We're going to continue on with our Brooks coverage today. I guess the flea bags went on late last night. I didn't catch it. But I heard I didn't miss anything other than she's going to block me on email as I'm trying to help her out. I was doing a good job. I was doing a pretty good job helping her out, helping out the smaller channels who are having some issues, I was going to help them out a little bit.
Well, actually, Jay, you missed a lot of scotch tape noises.
A lot of scotch. Well, I was overwatching a little bit of Mod Squad last night. Show started off great. All right. Talk about how to not grow a channel 101. First off, apparently Stacy was eating some food while at some sort of a sale where she was selling rocks. Okay. Some sort of community sale. I don't know. An event. All right. She's selling some rocks. So while her chat is talking about, Raw Dog was on sharing some corals or something, she's talking to potential customers. So they're talking over each other. Then she's eating, I don't know, a bunch of chicken skins, slurping them down. It sounded like somebody was walking through the snow for the first half hour.
Maybe Lisa gave her a 3-point plan to follow.
I know. I actually found it slightly entertaining because of how terrible it was. It was so terrible that I was like, this isn't half bad. I mean, given the stuff I like, but it was cute. Hey, by the way, we should say hi to the fine folks that are here today. So I will say hello to, as I scroll to the top, this chat is long. Oh my goodness. Faves is here, and Debbie Webb is here, and Tracy Spencer is here, itty bitty. Debbie Webb is here. Rosie's T is going to watch later. Hey, D. Wayne Ramp is here. D. Wayne Ramp, hello. How are you? How are you all? Let me see. Star is here. I see Star in the chat there, and I see French Psycho is here. Maria P is here, and Icky Mir is here, or Ixky Mir? I don't know. I'm struggling with that one. Robert Towers here, unfortunately. Fortunately, Robert Towers here. Let me see. I'm scrolling. You guys are all very chatty this morning. I see. That's good. Rosie's T comes back to still say goodnight, and she'll see us on replay again. Renee's Retro Relics is here. Hello. Look around. 318 is here. Hi, look around. And let me see. I don't want to miss anybody. I'll probably miss somebody. David Del Prince is here. Hi, Harley Munchie. Penny Ward is here.
Hey, French.
Cubby Cat is here. Wes in Bama is here. Hi, Wes. How are you, Wes? Patty B, itty bitty softly spoken one, is here. And I think I've got all caught up. All right. So, by the way, we're going to take off, where we left off. We were in trial day 1. We will be jumping forward a little bit. There are some slow points in this, okay? But yes, I don't have a flea cap for you because I didn't watch their terrible show last night, and I was told it was terrible. Hi, Jack's mom. So, I have really nothing to cover on that other than, it's nice to kind of have a day off. Also, I do have to do this little star bell. Little star bell. Debbie Baker, thank you so much. Debbie Baker sent me a $50 Cash App last night.
Debbie Baker is so awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't during the show, so I didn't know. But yeah, it was after the show. But Debbie Baker sent me a $50 Cash App Thank you so much, Debbie Baker. I appreciate it. I'll have to see. I think Star has her email. You know, I delete all your fine folks' emails for your protection against just J-Hip, who, well, quite frankly, let's just say people don't like me. And, well, some people don't like me. And I don't want to harm you by leaving your emails in my inbox. So, also, Texas Sun Gal is here. Hi, Texas Sun Gal. How are you? That's louder and more obnoxious cowbell. Oh, sorry. I could do a little softer. Is that a little bit better? A little quieter? A little quieter?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Debbie Baker. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I haven't caught her in our chats recently, but I have seen her around. Hey, Colleen is here. Now, if you remember when we left off with Darrell Brooks Ketchup, do you remember where we left off with him?
Well, his lawyers took off out of the courtroom.
Yeah. And then
you showed his mom's interview, right?
Well, then there was a scuffle that took place, right?
Yeah. Well, when he had his shirt off and he had a scratch.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna pick up from there. But he had a scuffle. What happened was, I'll play this back. The judge will mention it as well. I might roll through when the judge talks at a little bit faster speed. Hi, Christine. How are you? But I really don't like to go a whole lot in like 2 times speed or anything like that, because I don't want you to miss some of the stuff that's important. All right, because if I'm going to cover the case, I'm going to cover the case, the trial as I know it, that I've watched many times over. So there will be some stuff that I will kind of fast forward because it's not important, but I will give you all the important stuff. All right, but we have, as you can see, I'm going to take us off the stage here, Ketchup.
Okay.
Right, and I am going to, let me see here. Let me get rid of that right there. And let me go here. All right, I got the volume turned up. Let me turn on the closed caption as well. I think that'll be a good idea. And the judge is going to talk about things. Now, remember, Darrell's basically, good morning, Shelley, basically in the holding pen. He's in the other courtroom because he couldn't control himself. Now, what happened was he got thrown out.
Blah, 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 blah. Can we stop talking for a second?
Okay.
Listen, if anybody's interested, this judge is amazing. Judge Darrow, she handled Lynn Hernan's case, which was against Jesse Kershevsky, who literally fed her eye drops.
Oh, yeah.
She drank eye drops and she ended up unalived. Okay. And the woman ended up being found guilty. It was an amazing trial.
She has.
But this judge is the best judge I've ever watched trials with.
Well, I'll say this because I said it in prior streams. I had a little bit of a problem with her, as did a lot of other law tubers, actually. I'm not a law tuber, but a lot of other law tubers did have a problem. Even Legal Vices had a problem with her, and that was she read into the record the same thing over.
I know, but
like you do,
trying to stop him from being able to appeal.
Yes,
you know?
I get it, but even
I know it's annoying.
Even like Legal Vices said, went maybe a little too far than he would have expected a judge to go to preserve a record. He didn't think that they had to go that far. But
I didn't watch this one, but I did watch every day of the other one. And honestly, I loved her as a judge. I was like, we need her on all the cases. Well, I absolutely love Judge Darrell.
And I will have an interview with Judge, not me personally. I will share an interview of Judge Darrell as well later on when we get through this trial. This trial goes on for a while. Today we should be able to finish up. Let's just call this round 1 because, well, we only get through, I believe, 2 witnesses is all we're going to get through here because we have to address the fact that Darrell got injured because being removed from the courtroom, he refused to stand up to allow the guards to take off his shackles. All right. And then there was a brouhaha that ensued. And then it led to Darrell Brooks getting a bruise and a nasty cut that he had to get cleaned out. And
going deaf in one ear.
Yeah, he's deaf in one ear all of a sudden, and there's a whole thing, but it's actually a pretty good day one. I'm still going to take us off the stage here if you guys.
Judge Doro does have a reputation for being no nonsense here, though.
She's thorough. I'm going to say that. She's thorough. All right, here we go. Let's watch.
As you are in custody, and that is appropriate. Now, I want to turn back to the issue with the jury instructions, Mr. Brooks. You indicated you had an objection. My next question to you is, what is the legal basis for the objection? I'm going to unmute so you can answer. Go ahead, sir. You need to turn around so I can hear you. Part of the issue is he's also not facing the microphone.
He's pouting.
He needs to turn around.
He's pouting.
At least he has his shirt back on.
Hey, put his shirt back on.
Mr. Brooks, I'll ask you once again, what is the legal basis for your objection to the jury instructions?
Grounds. Hi, Gracia. Oh, Star left us.
I'll ask a third and final time, sir. What is the legal basis for your objection to the jury instructions?
We're just looking for your Darrell.
I can't even hear what she's saying all the way, man.
Put your headphones on.
It's too low.
You want your headset?
Mr. Brooks, I can hear the deputies over there. I know they can hear me. That's been confirmed. There is the headset available to use should you wish to use it. If you can't hear, I would ask that you put them on.
Mr. Brooks, you just put it down.
I'm able to hear. He said to the deputy, put them down. I don't want them. All right, I'm going to mute once again so I continue with my record. He did not answer the question, what is the legal basis for the objection? I asked that question 3 times based upon that non-response. His objection is noted for the record, and I will approve the preliminary jury instructions that are on file with the court. Obviously, they'll be uploaded once I read them, but all parties have been given copies of those. Before I turn to the motion for reconsideration, you raised this earlier, at least the topic of it. Mr. Brooks presented a filing to the court this morning. I asked the bailiffs before the case was called at 8:30 if Mr. Brooks had any paperwork and to ask him if he had any filings. He then provided this piece of paper and it was photocopied. Actually, it was date stamped, then photocopied for the parties. It may have already been scanned in, I'm not sure, but it certainly will be. I've had an opportunity to review this document. Based upon my review, I don't believe any response is even required. It's his affidavit. He's providing certain disclosures, but there's nothing about that that requests any relief from the court. Certainly no legal statutes or constitutional provisions are referenced. To me, it just looks like an objection that he's filing, and that will be, of course, noted for the record. Attorney Opper, anything you would want to add to the record on this, any position you are taking?
No, I also viewed this as, because he labeled it objection by affidavit, I think my interpretation is he was trying to make a record for appeal that he objects to the court's previous ruling. I don't think there's anything the court needs to do with this document at this time.
All right, thank you. Then we'll move on to the motion for reconsideration. And again, I'm keeping Mr. Brooks muted so that I can get through this process orderly, efficiently. When necessary, I will unmute him if the court has questions. All right, Attorney Opera, I have read through the motion. Is there anything you want to add to what you have put in your filing?
Only one other observation, Your Honor, that since I filed that, the events of the last couple of days, I think further support my request.
I want to point out that while he's in the other courtroom, the thing for Darrell Brooks is he has an audience. It's the bailiffs, of course, but he does have an audience. Oh, man, never give him an audience.
Will be additional challenge to them as they testify. And so not having their faces displayed, I think, would help ease some of that tension for those individuals.
Yes, Leslie.
Mr. Brooks, my first question to you is, do you have a position on the state's request in their motion for reconsideration? I'm looking for a yes or no answer. I'll unmute and provide that to me. Go
I
ahead.
didn't hear what they said. I just put the headphones on, so I didn't even hear what she said.
Sir, it's a written document that was filed and you were provided a copy of that yesterday. We took a recess yesterday so it could be served upon you. If you haven't read it, that's your choice. What I'm asking you is, do you have any position on their request for this court to reconsider the denial of the state's request to prohibit the photography and video recording of victims and witnesses, and specifically their faces, while they testify?
A ruling was already, we already talked about that. You already ruled that the victims and witnesses will be shown. That was already ruled on.
You are correct, but they filed a motion for reconsideration. That's the document that was provided to you yesterday.
Okay, this is where Darrell's being a complete D-bag. All right, what they're talking about here is he wants any person they put up on stand to be fully visible by everybody. All right, because this is a public trial. What they're trying to exclude is any children that are going to be brought up, any minors that might be brought up in this as witnesses. Now, the state's smart enough. They're not actually going to bring up any minors because they just want to avoid that whatsoever. But, oh no, he doesn't build his box fort until like day 9. We got a while till we get to the box fort. But no, he really wants all of the children's, anyone who's a minor who goes up on the stand as a witness, to have their face shown.
Oh yeah, this was the last thing we were watching.
Yep.
At the other day, yeah. Now I
This is
remember.
what he's fighting for. Major D-bag.
Asking if you have any position on the request that I reconsider my ruling.
Yeah, it was everything's supposed to be public. This is a public trial. I don't understand why there would be even the need to reconsider what you already ruled on at this point, as far as to that particular issue.
Good morning, hey, what's up?
I take your
It's a public trial. It's a public trial. Anybody can essentially watch the trial. And like I said, as far as with the technology that we're in now, if they have to be sworn in by name, that in itself makes them easy to, if somebody wanted to pull them up or find them or find out who was testifying at any given time testimony is given, it'd be pretty easy for them to be found and to be seen. So, I mean, that's just the age we're in anyway, as far as with social media and Google and all these different things. We got all this technology basically at our fingertips.
Hey, Peculiar.
So I don't understand how it needs to be changed at this point when it was already ruled that this is a public trial. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be shown. Why not keep everything public the way that is?
that all victims, with the exception of the one thing I accepted previously, be viewed in its fullness. Articulate arguments on the record. You just did that. You've been respectful for the time being. I will ask.
She's going to invite Darrell Brooks back over. Now, Darrell Brooks said he didn't want to come back over. He is going to explain why. Get ready for this, folks. Get ready for this, folks. This sissy, this D-bag, oh boy, just get ready for this.
Ask you, sir, do you want to come back into this courtroom? You've been unmuted to answer that question.
Not until I can receive medical treatment for the bruise that I have on my arm and the cut. You just said a while ago on the record that you cannot see blood. That's because I wiped it on my pants.
Hi, Anna.
And you can still see the blood in the cut and a big bruise right here on my arm. I was told that the nurse would be coming in to see.
Keep an eye. Look out at his nasty ass fingernails. Keep an eye out for that.
Ew.
Oh boy, they're so long.
That's gross.
And then I was told, no, she's going to come at the next recess, which we just took. I know it was technical difficulties why you called the recess, but that was more than enough time for me to at least be seen, at least get the cut cleaned out and get it bandaged.
Cleaned out.
At least at minimum that, and for somebody to look at this bruise. That was my position on why I was not yet ready to come back into the court, because I feel like this needs to be addressed.
All right, Mr. Brooks, I understand your request. I'm denying the request to take an adjournment, or I'm sorry, to take a break at this time.
I'm not asking for a break. I didn't ask for a break. I was just saying that at the time that there was the technical difficulty before you even called that, Your Honor, I was told that a nurse was coming in at that time. But then when you called the recess for the technical difficulty, I was then told that I would have to wait until another recess to be able to be seen by the nurse, which my thing was, I
Mr.
wanted
Brooks,
to
you've
get
made
seen
your
by the
record,
nurse.
okay? I don't need you to go further with that. You've made your record. I'm going to mute you for the time being. I want you to be aware, sir, I was advised regarding the cut. The bruise is new information. I made a determination that you would be seen at the next appropriate break. From my perspective, a small cut and a bruise is not going to hold up the start of bringing the jurors in and advising them of the preliminary jury instructions. If that means the next break we take is for lunch, and that's when you are seen, then that's what will happen. So I don't think I've overlooked anything, Attorney Opper, but anything you had on your list.
Pissed off.
Nothing else on my list, but you want to give Mr. Brooks one more opportunity to change out of his orange jail uniform, excuse me.
That I would give him an opportunity to do. Mr.
Yeah,
Brooks, would you
then
like
maybe
to
you
go
can get a
back and
Band-Aid while
change
you're
into your
changing.
suit?
My position has not changed whatsoever, and it will not change, as it is my right to come into court how I would like to. Just like I should be awarded the right to be present for every proceedings in this trial.
All right, I'm muting him again. I note your objection. I will take that as a clear indication you do not want to go back to the jail to change into street or civilian clothing, that you are exercising your right to dress in the jail attire. All right, then with that, I am going to just take a short recess just to have the jurors brought in.
All right, now there will be a lot of me moving forward, because what she's going to do is she's going to read through all of the charges. I'm not going to sit here while she reads through 76 charges.
Yeah, that would take us like 3 streams.
There are a few stopping points that I do note that I'll get to. His arm is very sore. He has this bruise that apparently has occurred on his arm over the course of the last 38 minutes. All of a sudden, a massive bruise. I don't think bruising occurs that quickly, does it, Ketchup?
Not unless it's a serious injury. But I don't see any serious injuries from here.
He's
Just
very
saying.
upset. Now remember, he needs to get this cut cleaned out and dressed.
Oh, yeah.
He ran over 72 people and, killed 6 of them.
He's a freaking crybaby.
But his little cut is a big problem. It's no different when they're talking about him running over people in the parade and the interrogation. He's like, yeah, but my shoulder was hurt. Nobody seemed to care about that. It's always about him.
I mean, after they tackled him and beat the crap out of him, that never happened?
Yeah, when he gave himself up very gently by himself. And yes, and he had his dented shoulder, very dented shoulder. Yeah, the shoulder's all healed now. Shoulder's all healed, but now we have a new problem. We have a bruise in a sliver on his pinky fingers. Terrible. This is terrible what's going on for Darrell Brooks. I'm actually feeling bad for Darrell Brooks all of a sudden. Oh my goodness, this is terrible.
Pinkies are essential fingers.
I have to remind you of one thing. I'm going to point this out now. I don't know if it's going to come up today. On November 20th, remember, November 21st is when he ran over everybody, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been the 22nd. I'm trying to, I think it was 21st. On November 20th, all right, he also beat up Erica Patterson. The DA, all right, the prosecutors decided not to prosecute him for the 20th, all right, when he beat up Erica Patterson, because she didn't have visible marks that night and they didn't want to confuse the jury. So they just dropped those charges because they didn't matter. Darrell Brooks, once again, you know how he gets hung up on Erica Patterson. He gets so hung up on this later on in trial to say, November 20th never happened. See, they dropped the charges, which means they said it didn't happen. No, it just says they didn't want to charge you with it. They didn't say it didn't happen, dummy. But because he sees charges dropped, he says, well, see, it didn't happen. Well,
they didn't have video of from every single camera in downtown Waukesha showing you beating up Erica.
Yes,
so there's that.
Opens up the door to him beating up Erica Patterson on the 20th. He's terrible, but okay, I will move on. Let me see. We will pass.
Mr. Brooks needs his objection sign.
We'll make sure he has
He
it.
needs his objection sign.
Of course he does.
This is the only portion that's really cute. He gets his.
Let me actually go.
He's
back on
honestly
the-
lucky she let him
Mr. Brooks,
continue
when
to
the jury comes
participate
in, I am going to
at
read
all.
the preliminary jury instructions. Since those have been approved by the court, if you happen to raise your sign, I'll note it for the record, but I'm not going to ask you for any type of argument on that because we've already had that opportunity to do so. It will take me some time to read through the instructions. I don't know if that will take us to the lunch hour or not. The state should be potentially prepared to go through its opening. Mr. Brooks, if we do get to that point where the state is giving its opening and you have an objection, you need to write down the objection in addition to raising your hand, and I will rule on the objections.
She's not mean to me.
So you must write down the basis for the objection and what you're objecting to, in addition to holding up your sign. That's the procedure that we will follow. All right, now we're on a short break until the jury comes in.
Star, I will go a little bit faster in places, but I have some timestamps marked out. So we are going to skip through just, quite a bit of stuff here to some things that I thought were funny or important here. But we are skipping through because I just moved up to 2 hours and 3 minutes. We have some big jumps that we're going to make. I don't like to go to faster speed on stuff that I think is either important or interesting to me. But
the witness testified about the reasonableness of the witness's testimony, the apparent intelligence of the witness, bias or prejudice, if any, has been shown, possible motives for false.
Yeah, they give him flashcards.
And all other facts and circumstances during the trial which tend either to support or to discredit the testimony. Then give to the testimony of each witness the weight you believe it should receive. In your determination of credibility, you must avoid any and all bias based on the witness's race, national origin, religion, age, ability, gender identity, sexual orientation, education, income level, or any other personal characteristic. There's no magic way for you to evaluate the testimony. Instead, you should use your common sense and experience. In everyday life, you determine for yourselves the reliability of things people say to you. You should do the same thing here.
He's writing his.
The defendant is charged with 6 separate counts of first-degree intentional homicide, use of a dangerous weapon. The first count of the information in this case charges that Darrell E. Brooks, on or about Sunday, November 21 of 2021, on Main Street in the city of Waukesha, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, did cause the death of Virginia Sorensen with intent to kill that person and while using a dangerous weapon. Contrary to sections 940.01 sub 1 sub A, 939.50 sub 3 sub A, and 939.63 sub 1 sub B of the Wisconsin statutes. The second count of the information.
I'm only playing this because you get to see him so frustrated waving his objection sign around. The information here isn't even important. She's reading through.
Yeah, it's just funny to watch him.
Put this in here to watch him wave around his. Later on, not in this stream. Later on, he just puts his objection sign in his pants so he doesn't have to hold it up anymore. Okay?
Stop it.
No, he does. In the waistband of his pants because he's tired of holding up the objection sign. We don't need to hear this. I just wanted to play this because it's funny. This dipshit sitting there on trial in front of jurors in his prison jumpsuit, waving around his silly objection sign that they can all see. And these are the jury notifications that have already been talked about.
Yeah, he already objected.
There's no objections anymore. He can write shit down. It doesn't matter. He lost this one. Oh, he doesn't build the wall for a while, Krusty Old Witch. We have days before we're gonna get to that. Just Jay only wanted to share this just so we can show old dummy over there showing off his objection sign. Like he's gonna get frustrated. Like, oh my gosh, you're not even paying attention to my objection sign.
Well, then he was like moving it all around. Like, does he not realize that the whole room is being filmed? Like, it's not just the screen filming him. Like,
she has her back to him. She doesn't give a shit. She's made this very clear. Now, I want to point out, prior to this happening, she told Darrell, you can object all you want and write it down, but I'm not addressing any of it because we've already gone through jury instructions. So there's nothing to object to. And look at his long-ass, nasty fingernails there, right?
so gross. That's so he can pick his nose or what?
I guess
Disgusting.
Oh, no, he's putting... Look, see, objection. She made this very clear. She's addressing none of this. But Darrell can't.
Excuse me, Judge. Excuse me.
Judge, I'm pointing at the thing here, Judge.
I wish there was audio to this because, you know, he's probably talking all kinds of shit.
Oh, folks, he's going to come back into the room here in a little while. Don't worry. Once we get through jury instructions, Darrell's going to come back, I think. No, I don't think he ever makes it actually back into the room. I don't think he does. Not for day one. We only get through 2 witnesses. We get through 1 police officer and then Corey Runkle. I believe it's Corey Runkle who we get through. Corey Runkle is Erica Patterson's friend who was there when Erica Patterson was getting beaten up on the actual night of the parade. All right, and she chested up. She chested up to Darrell. And now I'm going to be surprised if Corey Runkle may or may not have been under the influence on the stand because there was a lot of questions on having her come on, same as her friend Nicholas Kirby, who were there while Erica Patterson was being driven around in the car by Darrell Brooks prior to the parade accident, where, of course, Nicholas Kirby also fronted up to Darrell Brooks to get him to leave her alone. All right. Now, the state will not call Nicholas Kirby he's got issues. All right, he's got a lot of issues. I believe, I don't know if he's still in jail or prison, but he had to go to jail or prison, I believe, for let's just say kid stuff. Now, Darrell's very upset. You can see his long fingernails. All right, he's pointing at the thing. I don't have to play any of this. I'm pointing out Darrell Brooks here because she's just reading through his massive amount of charges. All right, bear in mind, we're talking about 76 of them. Right, 76 of them. So this is going to take a while, which we're not going to talk about it. I'm just pointing out a few fun facts of what we're going to get through today is an officer and Corey Runkle. Now, what the defense does, and I'm once again.
Jay, I got to ask you a question quick. How long did it take in real time for the judge to read through all the charges?
This is a 10-hour stream they have going here. All right. So,
wow.
This is about 4 hours because they leave us with about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours of actual testimony, one by the officer where Darrell gets his first opportunity to cross-examine. We'll see how that goes. All right, his first opportunity to cross-examine. By the way, if you like the material, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. I do appreciate it if you like the material. But no, we are going to get through those two witnesses, just Corey Runkle. They will call it actually an early day, sort of, because their next witness, I believe, was going to be Erica Patterson, and they knew that might be a 4-hour, deal, because Darrell's not going to let her off the stand on cross, for God's sakes, for anything. In fact, the judge is going to have to force him to end his cross-examination. Now, here's what the defense does, all right, because I'm going to, move ahead a little bit because we're going to get to where they actually do their opening statement, where Zach Witchow does the opening statement, okay? And I'm kind of going to explain how they do this. Zach Witchow is the man over there on the prosecutor side, all right? He mostly is going to do the examinations of the females, all right? Because he's soft and caring and loving, and you don't want to see a man be mean to any witness. Then you have the contrast of Darrell Brooks examining these same witnesses on cross-examine. This is a smart move on their part. Zach comes off as this nice guy being nice to females. Darrell Brooks comes off as jackass, of course. So they know what they're doing, all right? Attorney Basie or Hopper usually interview the men. This isn't not all the way through, but for the most part. Also, Zach's going to start us out with the opening statements. Now, Darrell's going to withhold his opening statements, all right, until he actually starts his portion of the trial. So he doesn't have an opening statement until later on. But Zach's going to start it off as the guy, all right, making it all soft and hard-hitting, all right? Then, if you think Jay talks too much, but Star, I'm trying to give in. Never mind, I'm not going to tell you anything.
5. If you find the defendant guilty of count 5, you must answer the following question, yes or no. Did the defendant commit the crime of first-degree intentional homicide or using a dangerous weapon?
Go through all of this.
If you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that both elements sub 1, 939.50 sub 3 sub F, and 939.63 sub 1 sub B
Ketchup,
of the
I told you.
statutes.
He's got a subjection sign in
The 52nd count of the information in this case charges Darrell E. Brooks on or about Sunday, November 21, 2021, in Main Street in the city of Waukesha.
It's a standing objection.
Recklessly endanger the safety of Mitchell.
He thinks there's a camera on the monitor.
And while using a dangerous weapon.
The way he's been acting, like.
He puts it in his pants.
Maybe if you dance around with it, she'll see it.
What's holding that sign up? He was so excited that his assignments being held up by you. That's disgusting, Darrell. Oh man! I tell you, I gotta look. I got another. Let's see what's 204. Okay, we can get to opening statements here. There's really not a whole lot to cover.
If you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that all three elements of first degree recklessly endangering safety.
Our break here. Now they're on a lunch break here. Okay, so we got a reasonable break
on the pool feed, and they no longer need the 2 benches.
Thank you, Your Honor. We greatly appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Now Darrell's going to come back.
There should be no objections. You had ample opportunity to do that. So I'm instructing you at this point not to object, because I will consider whether that's being done for disruption. If you have an objection, write it down on a piece of paper, pass it to the bailiff, and I'll take it up outside the presence of the jury.
Just so I'm clear, are we talking about objections to strictly jury instructions or the file?
I'll be right back, Ketchup. Hold down the fort, okay?
Okay.
At this point, sir.
I was just asking for clarification. I didn't know which one you were speaking on as far as the objections.
I'm talking about objections during this court
Which
hearing
one?
to the court going through the preliminary jury instructions.
Okay, I was just asking for clarification.
Right. I'm not addressing any of those filings. I previously addressed those. It may not be to your satisfaction, but
What you said, to be honest about that.
and I'm not going to repeat myself. So the record speaks for itself. Your objections in those filings, to the extent, whatever they are noted. They're part of the record, and they will be available for you at a later point in time, should you be convicted and on appeal, to make whatever arguments that you need to or want to regarding those. But from my perspective, that is something I'm not going to take up any further. And any attempt by you to do that, I will have to consider whether that's being done to disrupt the proceedings and not for legitimate reasons.
Reason for bringing it up was to make sure that they are offered into evidence.
Sir, we're not at the evidentiary phase. They're part of the record. They've been received. So at this point, there's no evidence to be taken. We're not at that stage of the proceedings. So you will have an opportunity after the state presents their case in chief and they rest, to then present your case and to present evidence that's relevant to the issues before the court and the jury. So I'm not going to go through any further on what that means. That would be for me to provide you with an explanation of the law or procedure, but I expect you to not bring that up at this point in time or going forward.
I don't understand, though, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, I've already addressed them. I'm going to bring the jury out. Please do not disrupt as the jury comes in and as I complete reading the preliminary instructions. I am, just for reference for everyone, I've read through 44 pages of 69, and so I still have a ways to go. My intention would be to finish with the preliminary jury instructions, take a short break for all, including the jurors, and then come back with opening statements. And that's, you have a choice, sir, at that point, whether you want to give one, but the state goes first because they obviously have the burden of proof. And then you would have an opportunity to give an opening statement as well. But that's my plan, at least for the afternoon.
I would like to go back over there, Your Honor.
You would like to, you're asking that to voluntarily be taken to that courtroom.
I'm trying to seek to understand how the testimony evidence that was given could be
Mr.
considered.
Brooks, I've already dealt with that. I'm not going to deal with it. If you want to go to that courtroom, are you waiving your right to be present right now?
Can I at least raise the issue of subject matter jurisdiction?
No, there's no lawful motion before the court. You may not.
Are you making a judicial determination that I cannot?
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to bring the jury out. I'd like you to stay. That's my preference that you stay. You've certainly demonstrated throughout these proceedings that you have the capacity to follow the rules, that you have the intellect to make cogent, coherent, articulate, responsive arguments when you so choose. But when you start doing what you're starting to do right now, going back to filings I've already addressed and start talking about subject matter jurisdiction, that is a tactic by you that I believe is to disrupt and to delay the proceedings.
That is not accurate, Your Honor.
Your objection to my characterization of that is noted.
I would like to make a motion for finding the fact being.
Your request is denied.
On what basis?
Your request is denied, sir.
Your Honor, I'm merely seeking to understand. on what-
Mr. Brooks, I refer you once again to document 244 that you signed, that you acknowledged, dealing with the right to waiver of right to attorney. We went through all of the advantages, the disadvantages. You were advised of things, including the charges that you face, the penalties that go along with them. We discussed the difficulty of representing yourself. You made a deliberate choice to waive your right to an attorney.
Thank you very much, Keith PD. I just logged in. This guy's doing great. He's doing a pretty good job. Pretty good job. I would hire him. I did hire him. He was my co-counsel in my lawsuit.
Oh boy.
Speaking in a soft tone of voice, the conduct still has the same effect, and that's to disrupt, to delay, and to show disrespect for the court proceedings.
It is not. It's not my
Mr.
intent.
Brooks,
It's not my
please,
intent.
I'm not going to force you to sit down. You're welcome to sit down, but I am instructing the jury to come out. You, at your peril, run the risk of me admonishing you in front of them at this point. I don't want to do that, sir.
I'm seeking to merely understand.
Sir, I cannot give you legal advice. I cannot give you the understanding that you want.
I'm
All
not
right?
asking for legal advice.
I cannot explain court procedures or the law to you. So with that, Mr. Brooks, that's another interruption. You keep going. Stop.
I'm seeking merely to understand, Your Honor. I don't understand the nature and cause of the charges.
Mr. Brooks, I've already dealt with these.
I'm trying to bring up the subject matter.
Mr. Brooks,
jurisdiction.
if you keep interrupting me, then you will forfeit your right to be present because you're showing through your conduct that you will not follow the most simplest rule of civility in a courtroom, and that's by not interrupting. You continue to interrupt. It's been a couple of minutes since we've been on the record, and there's been a number of times you've already interrupted me. You claiming to not understand and you wanting to discuss subject matter jurisdiction, do not, it's just a tactic for you. The fact that you are doing that demonstrates to me.
Thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you, Gracia. Thank you.
Sir, it's based on my observations.
And
So
I
at this point, Mr. Brooks,
I respectfully object
stop
to that.
interrupting me, please.
I merely
Stop
just seek to
interrupting me,
understand.
sir.
I'm not. I was
If you
in the
have an
middle of saying something.
objection, write it down.
I thought that applied to me being.
It's
from
applying right
another-
now since you keep interrupting me while I'm talking.
So what is the purpose of me being present if I'm not able to ask simple questions that I do not understand? I'm
Mr.
just
Brooks,
seeking.
I've been
I'm not
more
asking for
than
legal
patient
advice.
with you. And the issues that you keep trying to raise every time we're in here are not issues I'm going to raise at this juncture or address at this juncture in the proceedings.
Is
All
there a
right,
reason why?
I'm not giving you advice. I'm not explaining the law. I don't need to do any of that, sir.
I know,
You
Chuck.
filed what you needed to file. I've addressed every single filing on the record. It may not be to your satisfaction,
Thank you.
but I have addressed
Oh man, if
them.
Judge Grudge
All right.
was on this
Some-
case, it would have took
Sir,
twice
you're
as
interrupting
3
me.
times as
Do
long.
not let me finish.
He would have been writing his motions for him, basically.
He would have been talking about the jury instructions for 3 weeks.
Court. I've addressed them in the way that I believe the law requires me to do. Again, that may not be to your satisfaction, and that is simply the way that it's going to be. But we are continuing on with 60. You must answer the following question, yes or no.
Now, Darrell's going to be a
66.
little testy again.
39.50 sub 3 sub D of the Wisconsin statutes. The 69th count of the information in this case charges that Darrell E. Brooks, on or about Sunday, November 21 of 2021, on Main Street in the city of Waukesha, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, did operate a vehicle involved in an accident that resulted in the death of Leanna Owen and failed to reasonably investigate what was struck.
I'm only pointing this out because she's now getting to the part where she's talking about the people that he ran over and who lost their lives, okay? I'm only going to share a couple of these. I'm not sharing the whole thing, just a couple. I mean, we get the point, but I'm just going to share a couple of these.
And the registration number of the vehicle he was operating, to the operator or occupant of or person attending any vehicle collided with, and upon request and if available, exhibit his operator's license to the operator or occupant of or person attending any vehicle collided with, and render reasonable assistance to any person injured in the accident, including transporting or making arrangements to transport the person to a physician, surgeon, hospital, or hospital for medical or surgical treatment, if it is apparent that medical or surgical treatment.
French, you can't put that in the chat. French, you can't put that in the chat. If someone could take that one down. Sorry, French. I know that's.
Okay, it's gone. Fave's got it. Sorry, I wasn't.
I'm
looking at the
sorry.
chat.
I'm not being mean. I'm sorry. Just we can't do that. We can't. He's blind. Thank you, blind. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
On or about Sunday, November 21 of 2021,
You're good,
on Main
French.
Street in
Yep.
the city of Waukesha, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, did operate a vehicle involved in an accident that resulted in the death of Tamara Durand and failed to read these because we're not going to do that.
The rules that you set
So the bottom
by
line is, I
writing
don't
and
feel,
sending-
Mr. Brooks, stop talking. I do not
I
feel,
was following the rules when you said that I had to make all
and you did,
objections
and I'm going through
in
them, so
writing.
let me, give me the courtesy of replying or responding to these. And please give me the courtesy that even when you disagree with how I answer them, that you will not interrupt me.
It's not
You're good. You're good, French. I just had to point that out. I should point that out and make sure we're all good.
saying about decorum. I was asking, does that fall under the First Amendment? Because the First Amendment, which is my constitutional right, says that I have the right to freedom of speech and to be heard in this court.
Mr.
That's
Brooks,
all I'm hearing.
again, you have the right to present a defense, but that right is not unfettered.
That's the
That
Sixth
right,
Amendment. I'm
Mr.
talking
Brooks,
about the First
you
Amendment.
are interrupting me. Stop.
Because you're talking
No,
about
because you're
talking about an
purposely
amendment that I'm
doing
not
this,
referring
so
to,
I
Your Honor.
can't get my reasoning
But
out.
I'm
You
not
make it
referring to the
incredibly
Sixth
difficult.
Amendment. I'm not referring to the Sixth Amendment.
Mr.
I'm referring
Brooks.
to the First Amendment, which clearly says that I have the right to freedom of speech and to be heard in the courtroom. Are you not going to honor my constitutional right, Your Honor? If not, that is judicial misconduct, and you're making a judicial determination to not honor my constitutional right. I just want to be treated fairly, like anyone else, which you said on the record that you will be fair and impartial. What
Mr.
you're
Brooks,
doing
you
is
also
not
have
fair
an
and impartial.
obligation to treat this court fairly, and you have an obligation to follow the rules of courtesy and decorum, the rules of procedure, the rules of evidence.
Your Honor, I did
That's
not-
the playing field that you willingly entered into and made a deliberate
did not.
decision to waive your right to an attorney
I can-
and to appear
I
in this
consented-
case
I
as your own
consented to
attorney.
represent myself pro per. The same paperwork that you gave me, you have, and I also have a copy of the same one where I scratched out what I did not agree or consent to. We both know that, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, I made findings regarding that, and those findings stand, that despite you scratching out some of those words on
But-
there, I
but
made
you-
very specific
Yeah, we gotta be safe over here.
mitigate
You
that
also,
here
you
right
also
now.
accepted the terms of the paperwork that I
Mr.
filed out.
Brooks, I'm not going to engage with you about whether you and I have entered into some type of a contract.
We did not.
Or engage in
We
any
did not.
type of
Oh,
that kind of
boy.
dialogue, because that's what you're claiming through some of
No,
those
Bringing up
filings,
the
and you said that
contract
previously.
I am not
stuff.
claiming that, Your Honor.
So,
In any way, shape,
Mr.
or
Brooks,
form, I do
I'm
not
giving you
consent to
some
any
leeway.
contract.
You continue to talk over me. It's, you please, I'm asking you to follow the rules of civility. Simple rules, sir. Don't interrupt me.
Did I not just let you read?
Now I want to make something clear. I know how Star gets mad at me because I talk too much. Now, when he was before Judge Darrell, faced with a male judge, none of this happens. Oh, no. But when faced with the female judge, completely different behavior from Darrell Brooks, okay? There's two different types of behavior. All right, female judge, male judge. All right, male judge, completely submissive, just listens and moves on with life. Female judge, oh no, he wants to dominate the females. This is no different than in the what the hell's case. You look at people like Vomit and Paint Chips. What do? They attack Megan Fox. They attack George. They attack Rosalind Duke. They attack Trash Panda. Do they attack Tug? No. No. Completely leaves him alone. Do they actually attack Shizzy all that much? Not really. No. They leave him
They
alone.
have, but they've been
A
leaving
little.
him alone lately.
Yeah. Do they attack just J-Hip? No. They really don't. All right. They actually don't really even want anything to do with me. But if it's a female,
They don't want you or Shizzy to talk about them, honestly.
but if it's a female, oh my God, they are in for the attacking.
Mhm.
Right? Darrell Brooks is the same way. Your mansplaining is one above lips. All right. Can we?
I got a question though. He brought up the, contract stuff that all subsets bring up, but has he threatened to bill her $1 zillion for his time yet?
Well,
Did
it's
he do
going to come
that
out
during
of
his
his.
trial?
It's going to come after a substitute trust. Oh, Ketchup. We'll get there. Hang tight. Hang tight.
Okay.
He hasn't gotten into the substitute material far enough yet, but he will as the trial goes on, where then we're going to talk about a substitute trust. And don't forget the Tackett agreement, not the tacit agreement, the Tackett agreement, which Judge Darrell throws in his face and says, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, that's going to be funny.
Oh, it is so funny. Here we go.
The whole jury instructions and follow the rules that you said. I have to write down.
You did.
Anything that I object to and then hand it in.
Except now that we're discussing them, it seems to me that the rules don't quite matter to you, sir.
No, that is not what's
So,
being asserted.
Here's
on my
what's
end.
happening, sir.
All
I'm telling you,
all
I'm
I'm asking
advising
for-
you
I
to
can't start.
respect the rules.
Oh,
I'm advising you
start.
that if you continue to interrupt, you risk forfeiting your right to be present in this courtroom.
Are you?
Because I still need to continue with these proceedings, sir. I need to go through all of the documents that you filed, and you're not letting me do that.
Because we didn't
So
get
I'm
past
gonna,
the
if I
issue.
need to, I'll remove you to the other courtroom so that I can do this. And yes, exercise the mute button, sir. And
This is
then I'll bring
something
you
that was
back when the
filed, though.
jury's back.
This was filed, though, Your Honor, and it's a valid.
Mr. Brooks is
it's valid.
clearly not following the simple rule of civility that I have established.
That's
He
inaccurate,
continues
Your
to
Honor.
interrupt. He's not providing this court with
inaccurate, Your
ability to make rulings on the record without interruption. So this is your final warning, or you will be removed to the other courtroom.
Will Your Honor honor my First Amendment right?
I'm
Or are
not
you
answering
making
that
it- or are
question,
you
sir,
making
because
it-
I've already addressed
So
it.
you're making a judicial determination to deprive me of my constitutional
I am not
right.
making any such determination, sir.
So you just said you're not going to answer the question about my First Amendment right, which says
Sir,
that
I've
I have
already
freedom of
answered the
speech.
question that you have a right to present a
I love you, Star. I can take a joke. I'm just playing.
to present your defense, but your rights are not unfettered.
Yes, they
Your
are, Your
rights-
Honor. You're citing the Sixth Amendment, which I am not
Mr. Brooks,
questioning.
your First Amendment in some respects is circumscribed by the rules of evidence and the rules of procedure.
Does it say that I have
So that
freedom
doesn't
of
mean you
speech?
get to say anything that you want in
No,
front of a
I'm-
jury.
Your
And it
Honor.
doesn't mean you get to put forth any kind of evidence that you want in
Your
front
Honor,
of a jury.
am I
What it
being-
means, sir,
am I
is
being
that you
disrespectful?
must
Am I
follow.
calling you
Yes,
out
you're
your
being
name? Am I threatening
disrespectful because
anybody?
you're
I'm
not.
not doing anything of the sort.
All right, he is continuously talking over me. So at this point, I'm going to find that he's forfeited his right to be
I have
present as
not
I
forfeited
go
my right,
through
Your Honor. I have
his
not consented to any. I'm
his
simply trying
paperwork. He's to be
understand
removed to the other courtroom
I'm
until
simply
such
trying to
time as he
understand
can pledge to
why we're
follow
not
the
talking
rules
about
of
the First
decorum and
Amendment. I'm not
civility.
talking about the
We'll be
Sixth
in
Amendment.
recess until we have
Your Honor, I do
everything
not agree to it.
set. The record to reflect, I'm stepping off.
He does not agree to a stopple. A stopple. There'll be no stopple. Oh, he's back in the other courtroom. Here we go. We're back again. Here we go. There's Big Dummy.
2:03 p.m. October 6th, and then looks like the time is 14:28, so 2:28. The other one was received. Mr. Brooks, I'm going to make a record first as to why you've been removed, and then I will hopefully get to the filings. I need you to not interrupt me at the moment.
I'm going to skip by this. She's going to say why he's been removed. We know why he's been removed. We've been through this whole deal before. Here we go, though. He's going to talk about it.
Like that, I'm asking to simply have clarification so that I can understand. I cannot put on an adequate defense if I don't understand something. Do you see these boxes I got right here? Do you think I was able to go through everything in those
Mr.
boxes?
Brooks, I'm not going to go through this with you again, where you attempt to put
He's
on
had
the
a
record
whole
all
year.
of these issues that you have.
What
when
else
we're in
does
the
he have
middle
to
of a
do?
trial.
He fired his lawyer. All
I
right?
know, but I mean, he's had the discovery, a copy of it, for a whole year almost, and he's got nothing but time on his hands.
4 days before trial, he fires his lawyer, and the judge tells him, "We're going forward, sir."
I know, but he's had a copy of the discovery that he could have read. He knows what happened. He was there. Let's be honest.
He's an idiot, and
I know.
And what he is doing is he is making he is
The same thing he did when they interviewed him or interrogated him.
Do you want to come back to this courtroom? And he chose not to answer it, but instead ask a question and then start making statements about his lack of understanding. I will find that his non-response, that he has not answered directly, which to me says he's not willing to follow the rules of decorum and courtesy and civility. And without such a pledge, he will remain in that courtroom. He's muted. The record should reflect. It appears he's talking as well. He's making hand gestures. His lips are moving behind the mask. And I just wanted to make a record of that. All right. Then we will have the jurors brought in, and then the state can then proceed with its opening statement.
He's like that Batman character, Bane. You cannot see behind the mask. He's Bane.
Now, can the jury see him doing this? Is there a TV screen with him on it in the courtroom, or is he just on like the judge's screen?
Oh no, the jury will see him. They have to. The jury will see everything that he does, and we are going to get to the opening statement by the state. Zach Witchow is going to do the opening statement, and then of course Hopper. We can't hear anything he's saying right now, so we're fine. All right, but then Hopper is going to do the closing statement at the end, and she delivers. All right, yes, Faith, she delivers a spanking in the end. It is amazing. Her delivery at the end. Zach starts it out with the little, the heartfelt section. But no, her closing is amazing. And hang on, I gotta remove us from the stage again. No, I gotta get my mask. Why? All right, let me pop forward a little bit. Let me get the opening statements. There's going to be a little pause.
Local community groups, local businesses, all making their way down the parade route.
Sit tight with me. I'll get to it. Hang on. We're almost there.
Record.
That day. He was the incident commander for the Waukesha Christmas Parade, and we are going to, with Sergeant Warner's help, take you through this, which is the first of 3 maps that we will refer to repeatedly throughout this trial. This map depicts the area that we're going to be talking about over the next couple of days, the parade route. Now, for those of you not entirely familiar with downtown Waukesha, this is going to look like a bunch of gibberish, but once we get going and we repeatedly refer to these street names and the business names and the groups that were involved in this parade, I think it'll become like a...
By the way, I will not speed up the opening statement by Zach Witchow. This is important to me, so I will not be speeding this up. I will be listening to it from start to finish, okay? Debbie Webb, can you spank me, please? I've been a bad guest here. French Psycho!
What is happening in the chat?
Uncalled for. Uncalled for. Me too, Debbie, by the way. No! Terrible!
Second language to you. Sergeant Warner will describe for you how the parade route ran from, if you look closely at the screens in front of you, the intersection of Main Street and White Rock Avenue. White Rock was a staging area for the parade groups and floats. And they made their way southeast on White Rock until they came to Main Street, and then they would make a right turn and head southeast down Main Street through the parade route until the very end as it wraps around to the south and runs into Wisconsin Avenue. The parade route then would continue to the east, making a left-hand turn on Wisconsin, but nothing really happens on Wisconsin Avenue. You're not going to hear any testimony about that. As you can see from this map, it depicts or represents each intersection where a squad car or a police officer was stationed. They're denoted by the little badge shields in the intersections. If you look closely, you can see little red lines, and Sergeant Warner will describe how those represent the barricades that were placed at each intersection for security and safety purposes. Once we've got that established, we're going to move into the first chapter of this story, and you're going to hear about the origin of Mr. Brooks's rage that day. A violent domestic argument with Erica Patterson, his former girlfriend and the mother of his child. Erica Patterson is going to testify either today or tomorrow, hopefully today. She's going to tell you that in November of 2021, she was staying at the Women's Center, which is a shelter here in Waukesha. And on the day in question, November 21st of 2021, the defendant showed up in Waukesha in his red Ford Escape that she knew he drove, and he argued with her, and he harassed her, and he punched her in the face. And the thing about a swollen eye is it's tough to fake. You're going to hear evidence about how after, well, let me back up. You're going to hear evidence about how the defendant took Erica Patterson all over town that afternoon, from Frame Park, across the river, up Barstow Hill, back down to Frame Park. And at some point, after she was struck, after she sustained that injury, Erica called her friends because she needed help.
Jay?
Oh, sorry. This is called an afternoon with Darrell Brooks. That is what you would call a swollen eye. That doesn't look good to me. All right. But this is what Darrell Brooks does to Erica Patterson. All right. I just want to point that out. I'll move on.
And she had no one else to call. One of those friends is Corey Runkle. You're going to hear from Corey on the witness stand in this trial. Corey's going to say that she was Erica's roommate at the Women's Center. She had known Erica for a few weeks and they had grown close. And when she got the call from Erica that Erica needed help, Corey immediately responded to help.
This is the opening statement.
And she ended up finding Erica and Darrell Brooks in front of the White Rock School. If we go back, the White Rock School is on White Rock Avenue. It's on near the top right portion of the map. It's just south of Frame Park. And Corey is going to talk about how she found Erica and the defendant at this location, and she got into both a physical and a verbal altercation with Mr. Brooks. That altercation is captured on surveillance video, 2 surveillance videos actually. You're going to see both of them. You're going to see how the defendant was reacting that day. You're going to see what he looked like, what he was wearing, the red Ford Escape that he was driving. You're going to see how the defendant reacted once Erica's friends showed up and he lost his physical advantage over a woman. Erica and Corey will also testify that at some point during this scuffle, the police were called. And you're going to see a separate video, squad video, from the responding officer that shows just down the block, there was a marked squad car with its lights flashing, marking the entrance to the parade, something that people in front of White Rock School would have seen. So the evidence is going to show that the defendant must have known once things got loud and once there was more than just him and Erica on scene, the police were going to show up. So he took the coward's way out. You're going to see him in the video get into the driver's seat of that red SUV. Corey and Erica will tell you that no one else was in the car. And you're going to see him pull off on White Rock towards Main Street. You're going to hear from law enforcement officers who were positioned along the parade route, the officers who made their initial contact with the defendant, the first ones who tried to stop him. And the first one is Detective Tom Casey, the lead detective in this case. He's sitting at the state's prosecution table right behind me. He's going to tell you that he was working that day as security for the parade. He was working at Main and White Rock.
Tom Casey, I want to remind you once again, Slender Man trial that took place with the 2 teenage girls who stabbed their friend, but she survived. He was the lead detective on that and interviewed the 2 Slender Man girls also in Waukesha. Just a little fun fact on Tom Casey. Okay.
He's the first law enforcement officer to come into contact with the defendant during this incident, face to face.
The black chair.
I think better describe it as face to windshield. He tried to stop the defendant, but there's only so much a man can do against an SUV. But he's going to tell you that he got so close, he got such a good look at Darrell Brooks' face, that from that witness stand, he'll be able to say to you definitively, Darrell Brooks, the man in orange on the video screen, is the man who was driving the red SUV in this case. You're going to hear from a few more officers. Officer Bryce Buttrin, Officer Sonia Schneider. They were positioned at the intersection of Main Street and East Avenue, just a little bit further southwest in that map. You're going to hear them describe how they saw this red SUV approaching. They quickly realized it was not part of the parade. They quickly realized this was a problem. There are people, children, in the street, lining the street. And so they jumped into action. They tried to stop it. As the SUV started barreling towards them, Officer Buttrin again tried to get in the way, put himself at risk, trying to get in front of the vehicle. Couldn't stop it. Officer Schneider tried to redirect the vehicle up Buckley Street, making a right-hand turn. She'll tell you, and you'll see in the video, there was room. There was space. She couldn't do it. The defendant blew past her. And that's when the screams in the police radio started. You're going to hear from Jim Hawkinson, a battalion chief for the Waukesha Fire Department. He's going to tell you about the massive scope of the emergency response to this tragedy. He was in charge of the fire department that day. He's going to tell you about all of the units that had to respond to the scene, the massive amount of resources needed to triage and treat and transport all the victims. He's going to tell you about the response from other communities in Southeast Wisconsin, the mutual aid call that went out, and all the other communities that came to help out. He's going to tell you about how Waukesha Memorial Hospital, just up the hill from the parade route, quickly reached capacity. And so everybody had to be diverted to other medical facilities. We'll transition then into the next chapter of this story, and you're going to hear from some of the people whose lives were forever changed by the defendant's terrible decisions that day. But I'll tell you right now, you're not going to hear from all of them. It wouldn't make sense. It's not necessary. We intend to present the evidence to you in an efficient and streamlined way. We will elicit testimony and introduce exhibits that cover every element of every single criminal charge in this case.
I want to point something out here. All right, and this is important. Darrell Brooks is going to accuse people during this trial, witnesses who were injured in the attack, who did not go to a medical facility immediately because, well, if you were injured, why didn't you go to a medical facility? Clearly you weren't injured. Well, they weren't injured enough that they wanted to take up resources from the hospitals and medical facilities that were trying to save people's lives. And he accuses them of faking their injuries, all right, because they weren't actually that important that they had to go to the hospital. So therefore, they shouldn't count. Yeah, he does this. He's an asshole.
But our goal is to avoid duplication of evidence and to avoid undue hardship on the victims and the witnesses who have already suffered so much. So the first witness in this part of the trial that you're going to hear from is Nicole White. She's the very first person, aside from Detective Casey, who was struck by the defendant on that day. She's going to tell you, as we look at this second of the three maps that we're going to repeatedly refer to, that she was marching with her coworkers and friends with Remax. You'll recognize the float, I think, in the videos, because just like the commercials for Remax, there's a giant hot air balloon that shoots fire out of the basket, which is pretty cool. And she's going to tell you she was marching with her friends and her coworkers when, without any warning, she was hit from behind and knocked over. You're going to see video of that. Nicole White has a special significance in this case because, as the first person who was struck, she represents the point in time when Mr. Brooks was legally required to stop. You heard the judge read the hit and run jury instructions. And to summarize, in Wisconsin, anybody who's operating a motor vehicle who's involved in some kind of accident, they have a duty to stop, to investigate, to exchange information. Not only did Darrell Brooks not stop, the evidence will show that he sped up. The evidence will show that as his body count increased, so did his motive to get away. Nicole White, I think, is a good point here for me to explain to you or to summarize for you the charge of first-degree recklessly endangering safety. Now, again, the judge read the law to you all morning with all these instructions written down for you, so you do not need to memorize them, okay? But we're going to talk about first-degree recklessly endangering safety. It's a crime where it's committed by someone who recklessly endangers the safety of another human being under circumstances that show utter disregard for human life. Let's talk about what the state's not required to prove with recklessly endangering safety. Not required to prove injury. This was a conscious decision in our charging decision. We're not going to get into medical records. We're not going to talk about the details of witnesses' injuries because it's not relevant, except to the extent that it proves that they were endangered and resulted in injury. But we don't need to get into who was hit or how hard or how long they've suffered. We just are going to prove to you that their safety was endangered. So after Nicole White, we are going to talk, you're going to hear evidence about the first of the larger groups that was affected by this incident, the Waukesha South High School marching band. 10 kids in that band got either hit or run over. Here's the first example of our efficient presentation of evidence. You're not going to hear from any one of them. High school age kids, there's video showing each and every one of them getting run over. So instead, you're going to hear from their band director, Sarah Waymeyer Aparicio. She's going to come in and she's going to look at some still shots of the video. She's going to identify each of the 10 kids for you. You're then going to watch and listen to the video, and it'll be clear as day who's getting run over or hit. It'll be clear as day whose safety was endangered by Mr. Brooks that day. As we move further down the parade route, you'll hear evidence about the Burris Logistics Group. You'll hear testimony from Kelly Grabo about how she was marching with that group along with her young daughter. You'll see video of them. They're dressed up like the Who's from Whoville. You'll see them get hit. As we move further down the parade route, you'll hear testimony about the Green family. They're spectators along the parade route. Charles Green is going to come in and talk.
I want to make one thing clear. Over here on the Law Crime Channel, we won't actually see these videos. There will be some portions of videos we may see that will be blocked out. We will not actually see any of this stuff. Okay, I want to make that very clear going forward. I wouldn't show it. I don't want to show it. But you will hear the sounds and interactions that took place. Okay, I just want to make that clear going forward so you understand what you're getting when I cover this case. That happened. I mean, we're talking 5 years ago, but it's important to me. Here we go.
Talk about how he was there with his family. He was sitting on the southeast corner of Main and Gasper, across the street from Martha Merrill's Books. We'll talk about how his kids were seated on a portable bench, something that you bring to a parade to sit on, and how they got knocked off that bench when the defendant ran into them. The next point in the presentation of evidence will involve the Waukesha Blazers. I think it's important to point out you can't consider this evidence of each crime in a vacuum. You need to consider the entire incident. Because at this point, by the time we get to the Blazers, the defendant will have already hit or run over 15 people. You'll see in the video that at this point, the defendant has actually increased his speed. And you'll hear from Detective Mike Carpenter with the Waukesha Police Department. He's going to come in and talk about speed analysis. He'll tell you that he's certified to use a software program that basically takes surveillance video, measures the amount of time it takes to travel a certain distance in that video, and calculates an average speed over that distance. And he'll tell you that in video obtained from Bosco Social Club, which is right in front of where the Blazers got hit, he'll tell you that that video in that area right before the Blazers got hit, the defendant was traveling in excess of 33 miles an hour. There were 5 victims in the Blazers. That includes Jackson Sparks, who was walking with his big brother Tucker. Cut down in the road before he had a chance to put any miles on his soul. Jackson was 8. He died 2 days later in the hospital. I think this is a good point to talk about the law of first-degree intentional homicide. Again, the judge...
I don't need any fake sympathy out of you, Darrell Brooks. Quite frankly, this is sad. It actually brings tears to my eyes. Jackass. All right?
It was very sad. That Memorial Park was filled with toys and stuff for Jackson.
And he's acting like he's so upset about it. Really? We saw your interrogation video. I did this in my first 2 streams on you, jackass. All right. You don't give a shit. You never did. All right. But I just want to point it out. This actually does make me sad. Very sad.
Provided the law to you, it'll be provided to you again at the conclusion of the trial. I want you to take a look at that second element. I don't know what the defense in this case is going to be. In fact, the defendant isn't required to put one on at all. He can sit there and not say a word throughout this trial, and that's perfectly within his right, and you can't hold that against him. And in fact, if he does that and we don't prove each and every one of these counts to you beyond a reasonable doubt, you must find him not guilty. That's the law. But if he does choose to present a defense, if he does raise any issues, I expect that he will likely claim that he didn't mean to kill these people. Take a look at that second bullet point. Keep that in mind as you're watching these videos, as you're learning about how this parade unfolded. Consider whether the defendant was aware that his conduct was practically certain to cause the death of another human being. We're going to move further down the parade route, and the next group after the Blazers is the extreme dance group. There were girls of really all ages in this group, from toddlers being pulled in strollers up to high school age teenage dancers. 15 victims, 15 people associated with this group either got hit or were very close to getting hit. That doesn't include 2 additional spectators who were watching the parade from the south side of Main Street near the 5 Points intersection, right in front of the extreme dance team as the defendant drove through. Girls in this dance group suffered catastrophic injuries. The group of victims also includes parents, grandparents, siblings, people marching with the group, but not necessarily as dancers. You're not going to hear from everybody who got hit. You're going to hear from the 2 instructors, the 2 young ladies who were tasked with teaching these girls these routines and marching with them and encouraging them and comforting them after the fact. And they're going to, in the video, identify for you where all these girls are positioned, and it'll be very clear the path of travel of the vehicle as it goes through that group of young ladies, who was hit and who was nearly hit. The next group down the parade route is Citizens Bank, and here we reach the second count of intentional homicide. Jane Kulik was marching with Citizens Bank with her friends, with her coworkers. This is the only count of homicide for which there is no...
You can hear in the background, I want to point out this, you can hear in the background the actual people watching the trial that are there in person. They are struggling to get through this, okay? You can hear it. I just want to point that out. That's it. Okay.
Clear video depicting how she died. So instead of watching video, you're going to hear evidence from her coworker and from the man who was driving the truck pulling this float. And they're really the ones who are in the best position to observe exactly what happened to Jane Kulik as the defendant plowed through that parade route. And they're going to describe for you how she was struck, how she was run over. The medical examiner will explain that Jane Kulik's cause of death was multiple blunt force traumatic injuries.
Keith, I want to point that out. I was looking forward to making fun of this guy, but that picture of the boy just hit me. I don't want to watch any more of this trial. It makes me sick. Keith, I want to make something importantly clear to you. Justice is served, okay? Justice is served, and that's why we're sharing this trial, all right? We will make some fun of Darrell Brooks because he makes a jackass out of himself in court. So we have to make some fun out of this because every LawTube channel made some fun out of this. You have to. At the same time, everybody knows he's a terrible person. My understanding, he's been essayed in prison on more than one occasion. He's had at least one tooth knocked out. He's been beaten up. And he's not having a good time, Keith. And that's why I'm covering it, okay? It's been 5 years removed, and I'm covering it. Will I have a little fun at Darrell Brooks' expense? Of course I will, Keith. But this is why I am not fast forwarding through the opening statements by the prosecution team. This needs to be seen in full. I won't fast forward through it. I'll play the whole thing. Okay, Keith? That's why I do what I do. Is to show the entire story as it goes on. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, Keith? And thank you for the 5. But please, Keith, pay attention. We have a trial that I'm going to go through. I know a lot about. We have a trial we're going to go through, and it may get uncomfortable at times. And we're going to laugh at times. People are going to cry at times. But we're going to do it because it's important to me. And I don't care if I have 5 people watching or 50 people watching. It's what's important to me. All right? And I think it's important to Ketchup too, because Ketchup was there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sharing my trial as I watched it and as I went through it, and I'm sharing my insight, and that's what we're doing. But I'm not going to fast forward through the opening statements of the prosecution team. I'm not going to do it. I'll watch the whole thing. Okay? It's horrific. It's terrible. You're right, Keith. But I'm going to cover the whole damn thing.
We'll move further down southwest along the parade route, and we'll learn about a group that was standing in front of the Steaming Cup. Spectators, again. Innocent people have nothing to do with anything. You're going to hear about 3 kids who were standing along with a bunch of others along the curb in front of Steaming Cup. And as the defendant swerved from the left side of the street as he hit Jane,
You're good,
back
Keith.
to the right side of the street as he was avoiding the vehicle that was ahead of him, clipped the curb and hit these 3 kids. Then we're going to move in to the next group in the parade route, which is the Dancing Grannies. This is the deadliest point in the parade. 7 people in this group were struck. 4 of them died. You're going to hear from witnesses, members of the Dancing Grannies group, who will come in and they will describe being completely caught off guard. They will describe seeing pom-poms in the air. And the next thing they knew, there were bodies on the ground before the pom-poms hit the ground. You will learn about Bill Hospital, who was marching in a support capacity. He was there to support his...
I hate to pause, but I want to remind you, one of the headbands of the girls of one of the dancing teams was on, the side view mirror of his car when it was found.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you want to talk about how terrible this is, and once again, this is 5 years ago, okay? I'm bringing my insight into it now to tell you what actually happened. And I want to try and have some fun because during the...
Did you mute him, Star?
There will be some fun moments, but you'll see the terribleness. And that's what I'm pointing out is, my take on this. All right, back to it.
Wife Lola and their friends, the rest of the Dancing Grannies, just walking along the parade route trying to be helpful. And as the defendant swerved around the Dancing Grannies vehicle, which is a white SUV, you'll see it in the video, swerved around the right side, he hits Bill. And the medical examiner is going to tell you that Bill Hospital cause of death was multiple blunt force traumatic injuries. You'll learn about Tamara Durand marching with the Grannies. This is her first parade. You'll see a diagram of where she was positioned. You'll see video of her getting struck. The medical examiner will tell you that Tamara Durand, cause of death, multiple blunt force traumatic injuries. You'll hear about Lee Owen, another dancing granny, positioned right next to Tamara. who had just begun one of her favorite routines, walking in a winter wonderland, and she got hit. You'll learn about Jenny Sorensen. You'll learn that Jenny was walking at the front of the group carrying the banner. You'll learn that Jenny was normally a coach for the group. Normally she rode in the vehicle in the back so that she could provide feedback and critique to her dance mates. But she filled in at the last moment today and helped carry the banner.
That's sad.
See video of Jenny getting struck. The medical examiner will tell you that Jenny Sorensen's cause of death was multiple blunt force traumatic injuries. You'll hear more speed analysis testimony at this point. You're going to hear from Mike Smith with the Wisconsin State Patrol, who's going to testify very similarly to how Detective Carpenter is going to testify about speed analysis. Basically, he takes surveillance video, this time from Curry Insurance, which is on the south side of Main Street. It shows the grannies getting struck. They measure point to point and measure the time between those 2 points and calculate an average speed over that distance, which is roughly from Clinton Street up until the camera cuts out. He'll tell you that at that point, where the defendant crashed through the dancing grannies group, he was traveling at approximately 32 miles an hour. The eighth and final group that was struck by the defendant in this case is the Catholic Communities of Waukesha. This is a faith-based organization. It consists of members of multiple local Catholic churches who got together that Sunday afternoon to spread a little Christmas cheer. There is not great video, and perhaps that's for the best, of this group getting struck. In total, there were 19 victims in this group. In what little you can see from the video, you can see the defendant's taillights swerving from the left side of the street to the right. You can see them bouncing up and down. There are no speed bumps in that section of the road. The next phase of the evidence will involve the manhunt. How authorities found the defendant, took him into custody, and the statements he made after he was placed under arrest. You will hear from Officer Bryce Skolton, who was positioned, if you look at this third of the 3 maps I referenced, on the very top of this map at the intersection of Main Street and Wisconsin. Officer Skolton was positioned at that point to direct the parade route to make a left-hand turn from Main Street onto Wisconsin, to stop any traffic coming from the other directions. He saw the defendant come around that corner. He saw the defendant drive right at him as he's standing in the middle of the road. And as the defendant went around him to the left and went south, Officer Skolton fired 3 rounds from his service weapon. All 3 rounds hit the car. None of them hit the defendant. You will hear from another police officer who was not on duty that day. He just happens to be a police officer. His name is Officer Ralph Salyers. He's from the Wauwatosa Police Department. If you take a look at that map, he's going to describe to you being on the sidewalk, leaving the parade. He was walking past Les Paul Middle School. He's going to describe hearing a loud commotion. He's going to describe seeing a red SUV with just utterly total front end damage coming to rest in a driveway at 338 Maple Avenue. You're going to see video of the defendant in the red SUV pulling into the alley behind 338 Maple. And then a few moments later, you'll see what appears to be the defendant coming back onto the screen and running away from the vehicle, apparently in a hurry, apparently aware that he had done something terribly wrong. You're going to hear from a series of witnesses between that point and the defendant's arrest, where they will describe the defendant approaching them, contacting them, asking them to use their phone. Because he was in such a rush when he ditched his SUV, he left his phones behind. Then you're going to hear from Daniel Ryder, and I think the evidence will show Daniel Ryder really is a good embodiment of the spirit of Waukesha. Not knowing what Mr. Brooks had done, Daniel Ryder opened his home to the defendant. The defendant showed up at his front door without any shoes on, with a t-shirt, said he was cold, said he needed to use the phone. Daniel Ryder let him inside, gave him a sandwich.
This is very true. Daniel Ryder allowed him to come into his house. He gave him a sandwich. He thought he was homeless. He thought he needed help. That shows the spirit of people in Waukesha. And yeah, he gave him a sandwich. Let him in his home. Let him use the word and everything. And quite frankly, he sold off his door cam videos for, I believe, around $30,000. Darrell Brooks cross-examines him on selling off his door cam videos to make a profit. Daniel Ryder gave away a large portion of his money to the victims of Waukesha and then kept a small portion to protect himself. People thought Daniel Ryder was his friend. He was under attack for a short while because people thought that Daniel Ryder let Darrell Brooks into his house to try and hide him out. And that's not true. So he had to protect himself a little bit. But Daniel Ryder gave a large portion of money from his door cams to the victims of Waukesha. I just want to make that very clear about Daniel Ryder.
And there's actually 2 houses that are on that block where he lives that take in people that are homeless and rent them rooms or let them stay the night and stuff. So there's a community of people that try to help people that are out in the cold or don't have a home. And they probably thought he was one of those people when he first showed up.
Yeah, I mean, but no, Daniel Ryder was the one person who was. There was a few people that were nice to him. One let him use their phone. One, one was pretty skeptical and kind of sent him on his way, where he ended up at Daniel Ryder's house. But no, and then another guy told him to get the living shit off of his property. I mean, he was like, "Get the F off my property. I know who you are, but you're in your socks. Get off my property." But yeah, it's no. I mean, it's quite amazing.
A few minutes later, the police showed up. You're going to see body cam video of that arrest. You're going to hear from Officer Rebecca Carpenter that she responded to that area around where Daniel Ryder lives because of reports of a man knocking on doors. She takes him into custody. He identifies himself on the body cam video. They search him, and in his pocket they find a key to the red Ford Escape used in this attack. You're going to hear from a series of officers who retraced the defendant's steps that night, recovered surveillance video showing the path that he took, the path that's depicted here in the third map that I'm showing you. You're going to hear how they recovered his sandal, his sweatshirt along the escape route. You're going to hear from Detective Jay Carpenter with the City of Waukesha Police Department, and he's going to talk to you about the defendant's statements after he was taken into custody. I'm going to let that interview speak for itself, other than pointing out for you that you will, I think, quickly learn a few main points about the defendant on the night that this happened. He was lucid. He was aware. He was intelligent. He was probing for information. And he was deceptive. We're going to then wrap up with testimony from people who plugged any of the remaining holes in the investigation. You'll hear from crime lab analysts about DNA evidence, about finding the defendant's DNA on the steering wheel of the red Ford Escape. You're going to hear from Wisconsin State Patrol Inspector Ryan Schultz. He's going to testify about the mechanical inspection that he did on this vehicle. In case you were wondering if there were any issues that would have prevented Mr. Brooks from stopping or from pulling over, he's going to quickly put those concerns to bed. He conducted that mechanical inspection. No problem with the brakes. The accelerator didn't stick. There were no mechanical problems that would have prevented Mr. Brooks from stopping. Finally, we're going to close our presentation of the evidence, not with a witness, but with an experience for you. You are going to go to a secure location, and you're going to have a chance to see the murder weapon with your own eyes. You'll be able to see that red Ford Escape. I want to close now with a few points about how the evidence relates to the law in this case. There are, obviously, we've gone through the 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, but in addition to those homicide counts, there are 6 counts of hit and run involving death. Those are separate charges. The evidence will support convictions on all of them, all 12 counts of homicide, but they involve the same 6 victims. Another point I want to bring to your attention is that for each count of first-degree intentional homicide and each count of first-degree recklessly endangering safety, if you find the defendant guilty of any of those counts, you have to answer a second question. Did he commit that crime while using a dangerous weapon? And here the evidence will show that he didn't use a gun or a knife to commit these crimes. He used 3,500 pounds of steel, rubber, and glass. The defendant's also charged with 2 counts of felony bail jumping. You'll hear evidence to support those charges, which includes the fact that the defendant was charged with a felony offense in a case in Milwaukee County and released from custody subject to conditions of bail. And then he was charged with in Milwaukee County.
What's going on, Faves? Everyone's leaving Just James, so it's just going to be the Hip and Hale show?
I think it's gonna be just the hip show.
The Hip and Hale show, man. You got the Chippendales.
No, just hip. Just hip.
Hales. Here we go with the Hip and Hales. Oh, boy.
I think Jeremy said you were his backup, Jay.
Backup to a backup to a backup.
Something like that.
I'm not even going to stream anymore. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you later.
JJ whining has been called.
And released from custody subject to conditions of bail. And those conditions of bail included requirements that he not commit any new crime. And those conditions of bail were in effect on November 21st of 2021. We have dozens of video clips to show you. You're going to have notebooks and writing utensils while we present this evidence to you. It's a lot to keep track of. And when you go back into the deliberation room, it might be difficult while you're deliberating to remember which video was about which victim or which incident or which group. And so my suggestion to you is that as we go through these videos, you're free to do whatever you want with your notes, but my suggestion would be as we go through these videos, they each will be labeled with an exhibit number. And so I recommend that you keep track of which exhibit number corresponds with which video. That way, while you're deliberating, if you want to see those videos again, you can ask for them by exhibit number. Can't guarantee that you'll be able to see any or all of them, but you can ask. I'm done now. I want to close on one final point, and that is on behalf of the state of Wisconsin, I want to say thank you. You're serving in what is the greatest criminal justice system in the history of the world, and that's because of the 16 of you. It's because a group of citizens, randomly selected, come in and make the final, ultimate determination between guilty and not guilty. That's unique in this world. It's special. And so we're going to go through this evidence. We're going to be mindful of your time. We know how valuable it is. We're going to be efficient, but we have a lot to get through. A lot. And at the conclusion of all that evidence, District Attorney Opper is going to stand up here and she's going to ask you to render verdicts consistent with the evidence, to find the defendant guilty of each and every count. Thank you.
I want to say, in my opinion, that opening statement was pretty powerful for me. I think Zach Witchow did a wonderful job. But that's my opinion.
I agree.
He really, and the thing is, there's a huge difference. Once again, when we're talking about lawyers, when we're talking about men and females, all right, man and female, all right, they played this perfectly, all right, because they had Zach come out, and Zach is the perfect guy to do this because he's likable. All right, but at the same time, he's going to present the case. But at the end, they're going to have the hard-hitting Hopper nail this mofo to the bench, so to speak. I mean, she is going to nail him in closing. So that's why they started soft. All right, it's actually soft.
He brought the people in and got them invested.
Yep, he's the soft guy. He's going to do most of the interviews of a lot of the ladies. He's the softy. All right? Hopper's the hard-hitting, prosecuting attorney. She's the hard hitter. She's going to end off this case, and she does it like no other. We'll get there. It'll be fun. Well, I don't know about fun, but...
Mr. Brooks, my first question to you is, will you be making an opening statement at this point or deferring until your case, meaning the defense portion of the case?
I will be deferring at this time, Your Honor. I need a little more adequate time to make sure I go over the points that I need to make.
All right, then the court will honor that request, advise the jury he's deferring his opening statement until a later point in the proceedings.
Because the top of my hand's not showing yet. Just a little.
First and last
All right,
names for the
get to
record
our
and
first
spell each.
witness here. First witness.
My name is Sergeant
Hang on
David,
for a little longer.
D-A-V-I-D, Wanner, W-A-N-N-E-R.
Thank you. Go ahead, attorney, offer your witness.
Thank you. Sir, how are you employed?
I'm a patrol sergeant with the City of Waukesha Police Department,
How long have you worked in law enforcement?
18 years.
And as patrol sergeant, what are your general duties and responsibilities?
I oversee officers across all shifts that are assigned to the patrol division.
I want to direct your attention to the date of November 21, 2021. Did you work that day?
Yes,
Were there any events occurring in the city of Waukesha that afternoon?
the Waukesha Christmas Parade was that afternoon.
Has the Christmas parade been held in years prior to prior to 2021?
Yes, every year that I've been employed at the police department, we've had a Christmas parade.
And is it typically that third week in November before Thanksgiving?
Yes, every year that I can remember, it has been.
Okay. Is there any planning or preparation that goes into holding a parade in Waukesha?
Yes, there are meetings with the group that's putting on the parade in advance. There's also a group of individuals that prior to the parade, usually the Friday before, will post no parking signs along the parade route. There's a group from our city garage or Department of Public Works that will put out barricades at the designated intersections where we request them to put them out.
And what about manpower? What type of manpower would you devote to an event like this, sir?
It's rather significant given the large area that a parade like this encompasses, the estimated amount of attendance at the parade between detectives, police officers, supervisors, reserve officers, community service officers. I would say we have in excess of 30 additional bodies planned that day just to handle the parade itself.
You mentioned the use of individuals such as reserve officers and community service officers, I think you said, is that correct?
Yes.
Are those sworn law enforcement officers?
They are not sworn, no.
What is their role or function?
The reserve officer group is a group of people who volunteer their time to help with events like parades. They're given training in directing traffic and closing streets down. A community service officer is a paid position. They're part-time employees, usually younger individuals looking to learn more about a career in law enforcement.
And you said also parking attendants would be assisting in this endeavor?
Correct. We're usually looking to get as many extra bodies as we can, and the assistance from our parking agents is usually required for this event as well.
And this would be in addition to the sworn law enforcement officers that are assigned to work the parade?
Correct.
Come on, Mama
You still need
Bear.
other officers to patrol the city, correct?
Yes.
Where is the parade held?
The parade takes up a large portion of our downtown area. There's a staging area that the floats before the parade that they're all instructed to assemble in a particular area along White Rock Avenue between Niagara Street and Main Street. And that's about a 3-hour process of getting all the parade participants into that area and lined up accordingly. The parade itself runs along Main Street from White Rock westbound to the Veterans Park area, where it makes a turn and then heads up Wisconsin Avenue and ends near the Waukesha Public Library.
Sir, if I could ask you to stand up and refer to the diagram behind you. This is a map that's been marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Do you see that sticker in the bottom right-hand corner?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's a little tight up there, but if you could start in the upper right-hand corner of the map, and if we put up the digital copy of the map as well, I know it's hard to see, but then we'd have to do the screen share again. Is that correct?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Okay, I'm going to ask the paralegal to please put up State's Exhibit number 1 on the digital copy as well. Is that ready? Sorry, we got the wrong one.
open. There's a boat launch. It's a very large park in our city that encompasses a lot of different activities.
Is the boat launch shown on Exhibit 1?
Yes, right here.
Okay. And the waterway that's shown on the exhibit, what is that waterway?
That is the Fox River.
Now, is the parade route shown on Exhibit 1?
Sorry, Attorney Upper, can you 1 second? Mr. Brooks, just a reminder, you're not muted. Oh. All right, I'm sorry for the interruption. Go ahead.
I'm sorry too. I thought I was muted. I apologize.
That's okay. Thank you so much.
Go ahead and point out the parade route, please.
So the parade route in this map is essentially this purple line. This area here is what I referred to earlier as a staging area. And then actually at this corner right here, westbound is where the parade route would follow down to the corner here. I refer to this as Veterans Park. That's that area there. And then it would turn up Wisconsin Avenue and end around the library right here, which is that green area.
Okay, and we're just putting that up on the digital display too right now. Now, on this map, sir, we've designated several points along the parade route to reflect where various officers were positioned. Is that correct?
Yes.
And could you just briefly walk us through it? I don't need you to name every officer, but just point out the intersections and what was located at each intersection using Exhibit 1.
Sure. I was here at the intersection of Hartwell and White Rock. I had a police SUV, an unmarked police vehicle, trying to maintain the integrity of the route and keeping the road shut down. Here we had various officers. It's kind of a mixed use of barricades, marked police vehicles, police tape, just in an order to keep the streets shut down and make sure that there's a visible representation that the streets are not open.
Everybody that's walking in the parade is where they're supposed to be, correct?
Correct.
Is there a title for that?
He basically just gives basically his job, what he was doing, where there was barricades, things like that. We'll move on a little bit. We'll get to Darrell Brooks' first cross-examination of his first witness. All right, it'll be coming up here shortly.
Person?
Boy, I wouldn't know.
Your objection's noted. It's overruled. He may testify about the question asked.
Or is there somebody that you were dealing with directly that was kind of responsible for the units of the parade and you're responsible for the security of the parade?
Yes, there was
Overruled. He may answer.
There is a lady from the Chamber of Commerce who put on the parade that just prior to the parade starting, I had a face-to-face contact with to inform her that the route was ready for the parade.
Now, how do you know that? How do you know that the route was ready to go?
Between 3:30 and 4 o'clock, I had driven the route several times within the parade route on the street that was shut down. It was my duty as the incident commander of the parade to make sure that the officers or personnel assigned to the parade were all in their location, that all the barricades were in place, that there was no holes in the parade route that we missed in the planning, and as a final security sweep of the route just to ensure everything was in place as we had planned for it to be.
Can you estimate how many spectators were present?
Objection.
At what time?
I'm sorry, at the start of the parade.
Thousands. Once the parade had started, I was not on the route anymore. I think the last time I drove the route itself would have been just before 4 o'clock as my final lap through.
Okay. And there's spectators on both sides of the road, north and south sides of Main Street?
Correct.
And all the way from Hartwell all the way down to Veterans Park at the end there near Wisconsin Avenue?
Yes, I'd say the majority of this.
Hold on, I've been an objection. Go ahead. What's your objection?
That is hearsay. We can't know sure where everybody was at.
The objection is noted. It is overruled based upon the foundation previously laid by the witness. Go ahead.
The spectators are primarily from the intersection of White Rock and Main Street westbound.
So you were satisfied it was appropriately safe to start the parade, is that right, sir?
Yes.
What did you do?
I had face-to-face contact with the organizer of the parade. I indicated to her that I checked the route and from the police side of things that we were ready for the parade to proceed, and let her know that she could begin whenever she was ready.
About what time of day was that?
It was right about 4 p.m.
And you had mentioned the units were staging on White Rock near where you were posted, is that right?
Yes.
And did you see as the units would enter the parade route, then they all kind of move forward, I'm assuming?
Yes,
overruled.
Hearsay.
The parade participants
Idiot.
are set up on either side of White Rock Avenue, and they're kind of funneled together into almost a zipper type fashion as they enter the parade route.
And as they march forward towards a parade route,
You're gonna hear hearsay amongst 3 other objections over and over and over again, to the point where Judge Darrell has to tell Darrell, you know, I gave you a book about objections. Maybe could you read through that again? Like, blind suggestion, but maybe you want to look that one over, because you're just throwing out all these objections and none of them make any sense whatsoever. Not the 0 sense. By the way, if you are managing to enjoy the Just Your Hip stream here today in my coverage, please hit the like, subscribe, maybe share it if you want to. I appreciate it. If you want to go further, you always can, but you don't have to. You're not obliged. Here we go.
then at some point is the road behind them vacant.
Correct.
And what do you do when that happens?
We try to cause as little disruption in the city. Shutting down White Rock Avenue, it's a very major thoroughfare in the city, and having it shut down for that extended period of time causes some pretty significant traffic problems. So as the road is no longer occupied by parade participants, we try to open up the road from behind them, keeping the back of the parade shut down, always taking into account a street for a car to turn off onto. So
Did you remain in that same position near White Rock and Hartwell?
Thank you, Shelley.
yes,
And do you remember how you had your squad positioned?
Objection, that's hearsay.
Overruled.
I had my squad positioned across White Rock Avenue in an east-west fashion, essentially in the middle of the roadway. The road is much wider than the SUV squad I was driving is. I positioned it that way to give a visual representation to motorists that the road wasn't open.
And is your squad marked or unmarked?
It is unmarked.
Objection, irrelevant.
It's relevant. The answer may stand.
Clearly relevant.
Hear an objection, sir, that you wait till I rule on it too. Thank you.
Are there red and blue lights on your squad car, sir?
Yes.
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled. The answer may stand.
Did you have your red and blue lights activated as it was parked across the roadway?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled.
Is he saying
Yes.
irrelevant?
Yes, on
I
everyone.
remember hearing something
What an
about
idiot.
a disturbance near the boat launch.
Yes.
Objection, hearsay.
Hearsay.
Do you offer it for the?
Foundational, Your Honor.
All right, it's not being offered for the truth of the matter asserted. The objection is overruled. He may answer. I believe he answered yes, and it may stand.
All right. What do you remember hearing about an incident at the boat launch?
When I was near my position on Hartwell and White Rock, I was speaking with one of our reserve officers. We were discussing the proper timing of the opening of the road. And I overheard actually on his police radio that he was wearing squads that were not assigned to the parade being sent to a fight at Frame Park that involved knives.
Were you aware of any vehicles being associated with that fight?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled. You may answer.
I did not hear of any vehicles associated.
What do you remember next, sir?
Objection.
I remember seeing and hearing squads responding to this this fight at Frame Park. And at that time, we were still focused on opening up the roadway, and I made my way back toward my unmarked police vehicle, and I looked to my right or to the north down White Rock Avenue, and I saw a red SUV traveling toward me at a high rate of speed.
What do you mean by high rate of speed, sir?
Objection, that's hearsay.
Overruled. He may answer.
I believe the vehicle is traveling in excess of 40 miles per hour.
What's the posted speed limit there on White Rock Avenue?
It's a 25 mile per hour zone.
What about Main Street in downtown Waukesha? What's the posted speed limit there, sir?
The speed limit,
Irrelevant.
Overruled. It's relevant.
the speed limit throughout the parade.
It's irrelevant. And then he says, I believe that he was speeding down the road, and he goes, hearsay. No, that was his own freaking words, you freaking dummy.
He's not even using the right objections. He doesn't even know what he's just doing it to be an ass.
Now, bear in mind, I told you, this case is terrible. He's a terrible person, but we have to have fun with it because I'm not the only one who had fun with it. All right, keep in mind, All right, Law Talk with Mike, Legal Vices, Emily D. Baker, one of my partners and friends who I'm often a guest on the show. All right. Everybody had their own take on the Darrell Brooks trial. Many of them laughed at a lot of parts, okay? I'm not being heartless. I know what happened. It's been 5 years. I'm doing my portion because I didn't have a channel 5 years ago, but I watched everybody else's channel, all right? And as terrible as it is, everyone else, even 5 years ago, in the regular time, laughed about a lot of the shit Darrell did. Okay, so just
Well,
relax.
you have to laugh, otherwise you're gonna cry the whole time. I mean, let's be
Exactly.
honest.
So
This is
just
not a good uplifting subject, you know? I mean,
just relax and have a little bit of fun with the stupid. Okay, it'll be okay. Just relax. Nobody else got crucified for making fun of Darrell Brooks and having some fun with it. Okay, so I hope I don't as well. That's why we're here. We're
I'm gonna
making,
thoroughly enjoy ripping on him anytime I can.
but there will be some sad
Just saying.
portions. There will be.
Thanks, Star. Everybody thanks Star. Ooh, this is an extra long one.
Road is
Nice.
25 miles per hour.
What did you do when you saw this red SUV traveling at a high rate of speed?
Objection, leading the witness.
The objection is noted. It's overruled.
When I saw the red SUV traveling toward me at a high rate of speed, I used both hands and waved them overhead like this in an attempt to catch the attention of the driver.
Were you dressed in a police uniform, sir?
Yes.
And just put on the record when the witness, so it's clear, place both hands over his head in what I would describe as a waving kind of back and forth at a diagonal gesture. Thank you. Go ahead.
Did the car continue in your direction, or the SUV?
Yes, it did.
What did you observe the path of travel for the SUV to be?
Objection, that's hearsay.
Mr. Brooks, it's not hearsay. Your objection is overruled. Can we answer?
Idiot.
Could you state the question one more time?
Sure, where did you see the SUV go? Better question.
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled.
The SUV entered the parade route.
I want you to describe what you remember seeing as it passed your location, please.
As I was waving my hands overhead, I was approximately 6 feet from where the SUV was driving. As the driver passed essentially in front of me by about 6 feet, I could see the operator of the vehicle and just a dazed, straight, focused look straight ahead, not looking at anyone.
Did the driver appear to respond to your efforts to stop the vehicle?
There was absolutely no response.
Did you notice the car slow down in any fashion?
No, in fact,
Hearsay.
It's not hearsay. It's overruled. He may answer.
as the SUV passed me, I looked over the hood or the top of the police vehicle that I had positioned on the road there.
It's just timed out Star, and I don't know how to fix it.
Oh my God, Jay.
I don't know how.
You're gonna get it now.
You effing moron. You effing moron. Seriously? Seriously.
He doesn't even know how to purposefully time somebody out. You're the second one. He did
My
Mama Bear Leah
God.
for 600 seconds. At least yours was only 380.
Did he not realize I was in StreamYard
No, probably not.
and could come back here and just derail this entire stream? Because now, just wait. Keep trying to talk, Jay, and see what happens with the mute button. Because
I'm in so much trouble.
yes, you are.
Uh,
Yep. And by the way, we have a bingo. BKY1 has hit bingo. And honestly, you need a bingo card for this trial. I'm just saying.
I don't know if I want to play bingo.
I mean, you don't have to do it for prizes. You could just do it to play bingo. You know what I mean? Like Megan usually does. Because, it gives people something to do while they're listening to Jay mansplain.
I love it.
Well, I think he's mansplained almost everything, pretty much. So we should be
Over and over.
pretty much
and
done covering
over
that.
again.
All right. Here's the thing. There are people who may not have watched the actual trial, but just might know the end results. I try and fill people in on the middle stuff. Okay? Sorry.
Just wait, buddy. Just wait.
Are you back in the chat yet? Can you chat yet again?
No, I just tried and it still says I'm timed out.
For how long?
It doesn't tell me. It just says I'm still timed out.
I think it's
You
6.5
mofo.
minutes.
I'm clicking on your name.
This is the worst. This is the worst thing you've ever done. Just so you know, because paybacks are a bitch. Okay? They're a bitch. Just wait. Just know that I have access to come into any stream at any time and do whatever the hell I want. So just keep that in mind.
I'm so disappointed in myself right now.
No, you're not. You're thrilled with yourself. You're like, I got her back. I shut her up. Let's be real. He's like, shut up, Star. And I'm going to make it happen. Except you forgot I was in the StreamYard. So now you have me live instead of in the chat.
I'm looking. I don't see a thing where
Whoopsies.
I don't see a thing where I can undo the thingamajig.
Idiot.
It says put user in timeout, hide user, go to channel activity. I don't see where
I tried to call Jay on his phone. I muted and called him, hoping he would answer on speaker so I could tell him how screwed he is now. She's gonna get you back, Jay. She's gonna get you back.
I'm in view on all of her stuff. I'm hitting all the buttons. I'm trying to do the best.
Stop hitting
press
buttons.
any more
Just stop
buttons.
hitting buttons. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here comes the whip. Gang.
This is a terrible situation for just Jay.
Yes, it is. I'm glad you realize it, though.
It says sarcasm was banned. And no, I didn't ban sarcasm. What's going on, Star?
What?
That is fantastic. That is
better not.
fantastic.
Star.
Because you know what? You'll be doing this show without me. Bye, JJ.
Type in the chat. Sorry, type in the chat. This is terrible.
Nope. Bye, JJ.
I didn't know what I was.
300 seconds. That's 5 minutes. You should be back now. Type something.
I hate my life. Well, thank you all for being here. I hope you had a good time. This J-Up show is basically over. This is terrible. It's terrible. But I'm muted.
Star, I think you should be able to chat now. Type something.
Fully expecting that as it passed, that I would see the car slam on its brakes as it realized it had entered the parade route, figuring it was a lost motorist. I didn't see that happen. It continued into the parade route at a high rate of speed.
What did you do?
Upon seeing that, I got on my radio in an attempt to notify other personnel assigned to the parade route. I stated that a red SUV had just blown by me.
Do you remember using those exact words, sir?
Objection, that's irrelevant.
Overruled. He may answer.
I don't know if I said a red or maroon SUV, but I remember saying that it had blown by me.
Were there parade units still on White Rock attempting to get onto the parade route at that point?
Yes.
Objection.
Were you able to see the vehicle clearly as it went? I'm sorry.
He objected. It's overruled. Go ahead.
From where you were standing there, were you able to turn and watch the SUV as it traveled past you down White Rock towards Main Street?
Objection.
Overruled.
Just ask that.
I only watched it for a short period of time before returning to my squad car, knowing that some sort of police action was going to need to be taken.
What did you do once you got to your squad?
I got in my squad car. It was bombarded with the most terrible is the most terrible thing I ever heard.
The sounds. Yes. You didn't see anything at that point as far as people getting hit?
No.
Okay. I want to show you a video clip, sir. This is State's Exhibit number 2. Madam Clerk, if you could please turn on the State's table. Yep, I'll tell you. Okay.
Just show it to the witness.
I'll show it to you first. So, Sergeant Warner, if you look at the screen in front of you, we're going to play a video clip. It's pretty short in duration. I want you to watch it first before we show it to the jury. I'm going to ask you some questions, okay?
Okay.
Did you see that clip, sir?
Yes,
Is that a video clip you've seen before?
I have seen that. Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that's a true and accurate representation of the SUV traveling on White Rock Avenue near the start of the parade at Main Street?
Yes.
Move for admission and permission to publish, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Brooks?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
The state just moved admission of Exhibit 2.
No, I object to that. Keep it.
All right, the objection's noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 2, ladies and gentlemen, the jury is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Thank you. Please hit play. Sergeant Warner, is that consistent with the vehicle you saw traveling away from you past the parade floats that were about to enter the route?
Yes.
And is that consistent with the approximate speed you saw it traveling?
Yes.
After you became aware that something terrible was happening on the parade route, your incident commander, what do you do?
I drove in my police vehicle down toward the area that I just heard repeated over and over on the radio where the casualties had taken place. That would have been at Main and Gaspar. And once I got to that position, I parked my vehicle as it was impossible to drive any further.
Was there a call made for assistance?
Yes, I don't know who said it, but an officer used a code over the police radio, basically requesting police assistance from any officer in the county that would be listening.
Did multiple officers respond
Yes.
from within Waukesha County?
From
Irrelevant. The objection irrelevant.
Overruled.
Waukesha County and far beyond.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions at this time.
Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do. Good afternoon, officer. First off,
Good afternoon.
I'll say this is very emotional, so I'm going to try my best not to keep you up there any longer than you would like to be. My first question is, I noticed that you are in uniform today. Is it fair to say that if you weren't here testifying that you would have been on duty today? Is it fair to ask that or say that?
Not have been at work today.
So did you feel the testimony that you would be giving at the trial today warranted you to be in uniform?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Sustained. You do not need to answer that, sir. Next question, Mr. Brooks.
You said you've been in the...
I'm gonna give once again a little bit more insight. There's a reason he's answering this question. He's not on duty. Why is he in uniform? He's trying to prove the point that the officers in uniform, all right, to basically show his public standing in the court case. However,
Most cops testify in uniform unless they're detective.
well, that's the thing. He's there in an official capacity.
Right.
Therefore, that's why he's in uniform. Whether or not he's being paid doesn't matter. He's there in an official capacity. That is why he's wearing a uniform. It doesn't matter if he's on the clock or not. Okay, I just want to point this out. We might not get to Corey Winkle today, but we're going to get through this guy.
duty for 18 years, correct?
Yes.
In any of those 18 years, have you ever come across or had any interaction with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, vague.
Sustained. You do not need to answer that, sir.
I will answer this question for you, Mama Bear Leah. It is not mandatory. However, he is there in official capacity. Most officers are going to wear their uniform because he is there called upon by the state. Now, he's called upon as a witness, okay? And he's not actually on the clock. He was subpoenaed, all right? He does not have to show up in a uniform, actually. But most officers will because they are there in, a police capacity or, in that sort of capacity. So that's why they normally do. Doesn't have to, though. He can wear whatever he wants. But that's just the point.
Next question, Mr. Brooks.
How long have you known the plaintiff?
Objection, vague and irrelevant.
Sustained. You do not need to answer that, sir. Next question, Mr. Brooks.
Do you see the plaintiff in court today?
Objection, vague and irrelevant.
Sustained. Next question.
Do you have any knowledge of the plaintiff?
Objection,
Sustained.
Have you ever even seen the plaintiff in this matter?
same objection.
Sustained.
I want to go to the clip that was just shown.
Would you like it shown to the witness again and published to the jury?
I'm sure would he prefer for it to be shown again?
I just want to know if that's what you were asking. You can certainly question him about it, and if need be, it can be shown again.
Okay, can you show the witness the video clip again?
Sure.
Wow. What a POS.
All right, I can tell from my monitor and the
Well, I want to point out one other thing, just because it was brought up in chat. Not only is he on the job, and it sometimes leads to overtime, but the thing is, not every officer that's brought into this was on the job, okay? Not every officer that was brought into this is technically getting paid for their time. This isn't the worst case scenario we're going to see of officers, okay? This is the lead up. But, yes, not every person who's brought in as an officer was even on duty that day. Some were just there. Okay, so I want to point that out. I just want to make that clear as we move on. All right.
This monitor, it is up, but it's not being projected to the courtroom other than that. You can go ahead and play it. All right, your questions, sir?
In that clip, is it fair to say that you can see that there are people walking in the street and on the sidewalk? Would that be fair to say?
Yes, I could see that in the video clip.
Do you see anybody being targeted or being in a panic to get away from the vehicle?
No.
Do you see the said driver of that vehicle intentionally trying to hit anyone in that video?
No.
So again, I would ask, were you brought here today to testify on behalf of the plaintiff?
Objection has been answered.
Sustained. He already answered that he was, why he's here.
Again, I'll ask just one more time for the record. Do you see the plaintiff in court today?
Objection.
Sustained. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Brooks?
Do you know of the plaintiff at all whatsoever?
Objection.
Sustained.
No further questions.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
No.
All right, thank you, Sergeant. You may step down. Is he released from his subpoena?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you. He's released.
We have gone through witness number 1. That's where we're going to kind of end things today. I hope you guys enjoyed maybe a little bit of my insight. Despite Star thinking I'm an idiot and can't provide any insight and making fun of me.
That's her job.
A little bit of my insight into the case. Let's see, we're 8/26/58. 8/26/58. Now, in the next little round that we get to next week, we're gonna get to some good stuff on our next stream, probably on Friday. We're gonna get to Corey Runkle. All right, Corey Runkle's pretty good. And she might be intoxicated during her stream or during her questioning. I don't know. But we're going to get to Corey Runkle. And I believe following Corey Runkle is Erica Patterson. And this will be a big one. This will be a big one when we get to Erica Patterson. All right, Erica Patterson is actually going to be brought to the stand twice. Once by the state, once by Darrell Brooks. Normally, because he got a chance to cross-examine her already, she would not be brought back to the stand. However, the judge, in abundance of being careful or avoiding an appeal, wanted to make sure that Darrell Brooks had an opportunity to question her himself as the defendant, not just in redirect. So that will happen. I think you should do a heartfelt and sincere apology to Star J. You banned your babysitter. That's not good. It was an accident. Star knows. Star won't just have. Star's often mean to just try hitting and all. And so we joke around. We have fun. It's fun. She loves me. I think so. Maybe. Well, anyways, my point is, because the judge is making a bunch of just trying to make sure she protects the record, she's going to allow Darrell Brooks to question Erica Patterson for a second time. What day does Darrell Brooks choose to question Erica Patterson on? Ketchup? You have any idea?
Nope.
Day 1.
Of course.
Day 2. Day 2, because day 2 of his defense is her birthday.
Oh, no way.
To make her come in on her birthday so he can wish her a happy birthday in front of the jury.
Stop it.
God, he does this. Guys, I told you. I know a lot about this.
Stop it.
I watched this trial. I know everything. He brings her in on her birthday to examine her for a second time, this jackass. Oh, and we're just getting started. This is day 1. We're going to have some fun with this. I understand. Terrible story. But we have to have fun with it like everyone else did in real time. So don't give me a hard time. This was 5 years ago. And yes, Kim Dodd says, I wash with legal vices. And I thought I missed something. Well, I hope maybe I can add in anything you missed here. I wash with legal vices. While I talk with Mike, I wash with Emily D. Baker. I have the lawyer you know, Bruce Rivers. I've watched this a million times over and just on Court TV. We're going to pick this back up probably on Fridays, my guess. Even though that's like, is that Christmas-ing stuff? No, it's day after Christmas. Day after Christmas.
Yeah.
I'll be on that because I'm not doing a Christmas night show. I don't think so. No, yeah, I'll be on definitely that Friday morning. Whether it's me by myself, I don't know if Ketchup's available, but Josh Japp will be here because yeah, we're not doing a Thursday night people watch because there might not be any people to watch.
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right, so Friday morning we'll do that. Don't forget, it's today's Sunday. Tomorrow we got possibly. I don't set this shit up until Monday morning. I have to see what happens on Sunday night to see if it's worth my time. But we might have Monday Responday. Tomorrow morning back again after we missed a week. We might have that back, but let's see what the idiots do. And then, of course, members only on Tuesday. The greatest members only stream you'll get for 99 cents. Or if you don't like my members only stream, please go check out the Fleabags members only stream. They've got a good one.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, Jay. She totally tried to deflect the whole Gabe being under the influence and driving.
Oh, what was he doing? Oh, we gotta.
She's like, it's legal. He has a prescription. Well, what the hell does that have to do with him using his prescription and then getting behind the wheel immediately afterwards?
Oh, yeah, I got a prescription once, too, for hydrocodone. I took 11 of them and hopped behind the wheel of my car. But it's cool. It was a prescription.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's called putting the public in danger, you jackasses. These people suck so bad. They're hard to discuss. I hope. Sorry, everyone. I am still here, and I'm consoling Star. Jay's so mean. I've never been mean. Faves. Just Jay hit the wrong button because I was trying to pull up. I did the same thing to Mama Bear Leah, for God's sake. Some terrible.
Right? Don't feel bad for Star, you guys. Star can handle herself. Jay will pay dearly for this. Don't worry.
Of course I will. I mean, there's a good chance she won't even give me $100 tomorrow, and I usually like to get a lot of dollars from Star. And she might even talk to Rosalind Duke, tell Rosalind Duke not to give me $100. And I usually like to get $100 from Rosalind Duke, so I'm definitely going to take this one.
Uh-huh.
I hope you all had a fun stream. I like a good Sunday hangout. It's fun for me just to hang out, watch a little Darrell Brooks. We'll do it again on Friday. But once again, it's a trial that means something to me, and maybe it means something to you. And Mom Barley's been a member 7 months. Thank you, Mom Barley. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mama Barley, for being a member. I will see you all maybe tomorrow morning. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how tonight goes. I hope you had a good time. And as we always say over here, catch up. We say what?
All the best.
All the best.